there, and welcome to the Creatives Get Real podcast. I am Roben-Marie Smith.
And I'm Sandi Keene, and these are real conversations about the creative life. Hey, Roben-Marie.
Hey, dear, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. How about we share one of our iTunes reviews?
Okay,
We love getting reviews,
Yeah.
and we just thank you guys so much. So we want to read one here on the this episode. It's from J. Pugh. And they say, just found this podcast so helpful with my creative artistic journey. I feel as if I can give myself permission to say I am an artist. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you, JP. We really appreciate that.
That's awesome. And to think that you have a small part in someone feeling more confident about calling themselves an artist. Wow. That makes me feel really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ditto. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And I hope that that's true for more people, that you have the courage to say, I'm an artist.
I am. I'm an artist. Took a long time for me to be able to say that.
Yeah, and to say it with confidence.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where you're just waiting for someone to pop around the corner and say, you are not!
Or the dreaded, when you meet people and they go, what do you do? And you're like, well, I'm an artist, but I'm not a fine artist. I still qualify. I need to get past that, but, because they'll say, what, you like paint murals or watercolors or paintings? Kind of, but not exactly. They still don't understand. It's hard to explain, but yeah. But just say it with confidence.
There you go. Absolutely. So today, I get to be the question girl, and you get to be the answer girl.
Okay.
Because we're going to talk about something that's important in the social media world, and that is your Instagram profile, your bio.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are the expert. Can you say that with confidence?
I'm not sure.
I am
an expert. I'm the tech-savvy artist.
You are. You do this, and you have actually helped me tremendously with my bio or profile, whichever you prefer. And you have recently given me a couple of tips to improve it even more. So if you can help me, then we can help anybody, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So let's go through this because you have some really good tips.
Okay, so we're going to do 5 things that you can do to improve your bio. Simple, fast, easy things that you can do.
Awesome. All right. What's the first one?
Your profile name.
Okay, so talk to me about
that.
How do you choose that?
Now, your profile name is not your @. Like mine is @Roben-Marie. Yours is @Sandi Keene. That's not the part we're talking about. If you look at your Instagram bio, the first line that comes up is in bold. It's got that darker font. It's bolded. That is your quote-unquote name. But the key thing about that is it's searchable. So you want to have it be relevant. You could say your name, but that might be redundant if we're using our names as our part, our account name. So by using something that's more searchable, and I'll give you an example because I use Tech Savvy Artist and Mentor. And I play around with it. Sometimes I'll change it a little bit and tweak it. Now, you only have so many characters in the entire bio.
Right.
So you kind of have to play with it and figure out the amounts that are going to work for you. But if somebody is looking, say, for artist, or they're looking for tech savvy or something like that, then that name is searchable. And so those things can come up in search, when people are searching. So it's really important if you can maximize that. Tell us what yours is. We were just talking about it.
Watercolor, mixed media, and art journaling. Yeah,
so that's great because that literally is very specific about the kind of art that you do and the very specific art that you do. And again, it's all what you want, but you also coach. That could be something that could be fit in there, perhaps, down the road. Maybe when you're taking on new clients or you're ready to build that up a little bit, you could always kind of tweak it. Because you can always update and change that. That's not something that has to stay the same. That's tweakable. So I think it's important to have something in there that kind of says a little bit of who you are, what you do maybe, and then the next part of it will talk a little bit more about what you do.
Okay.
So I kind of broke this down into like 5 different things, but I think it's important too to let people know who come to your feed, what it is you do, who you serve, do you offer something? I mean, a lot of us are doing this as a business, but even if you're not, I think that it's important to give them an idea of what you're about. So mine says online educator with workshops for artists and makers. And so it's very specific that I'm an online educator, but I'm specific with teaching artists and makers and their workshops. Probably could put some more in there, but online tells them I'm an online educator, which is important, I think, because we're online. I mean, I still teach in person, but this is important because I'm wanting to gain people as students or have them come to my website so they can kind of check out what I'm doing and maybe even sign up for a workshop or something that I might have for free. So
let's say that this isn't a business for you and you're an artist, but at this point you're kind of straddling that hobbyist artist line. What would you suggest putting there for, do you put what you enjoy? So would that be like the mediums that you like playing with, or is that what you would suggest?
Yeah, I would. Let's say I were not doing that, then I obviously wouldn't put online educator in there. I might put something sharing inspiration, or maybe sharing watercolor inspiration, or maybe sharing watercolor art to inspire other creatives or makers. So it's specific to what I'm doing, and then I'm wanting to provide inspiration for. But it needs to match your feed. I mean, if you go into the feed and all that you have in there are pictures of your dog, then I'm confused by what's in your feed versus what you've said in your bio.
Right.
Now,
so they need to match.
Yeah, or do a separate account for your dog if you want to do that. If you've got art mixed in with that. I just think it can kind of be confusing. So, yeah. So you can tweak that to be, if you're not a business, then if I come there to your feed, I say, oh my gosh, she's got all of this beautiful and amazing watercolor inspiration, or maybe it's all floral, or maybe it's all landscapes. You can be specific and even say that, and then,
that's good. All right. So what's the next thing that you think is important?
Something personal about yourself. I don't like to put a ton of emojis in my bio. I think they're a little distracting, but because you're limited on your characters, you could do that to kind of represent some personal things about you. Maybe you love your dogs. You have a little dog emoji in there or something. But I think personal, maybe 2 things kind of makes you more human and makes you more relatable when someone comes to your feed and sees that. For example, lots of people put something like coffee lover or world traveler or food bank volunteer or avid reader. Kind of sprinkle those in. I wouldn't maybe put them all together. I would kind of sprinkle those in a little bit. Like, for instance, mine is my 3rd line. It says Florida girl, and then I have a little emoji there with a beach umbrella. And then I have a space where I have something else, and then I have God's girl, because that's important to me. Because the audience that I want to attract, they'll relate to that. And so that's important to me. And because we're so limited on the characters, I just choose. And I can change those out from time to time if I decide. But again, I could add another emoji in there if I wanted to and show something else. But for the most part, those are the 2 that I've chosen.
So this is 2 things that are really important to you, that define you, or a hobby, that
Absolutely.
kind of thing. So for me, it might be the fact that I love to read and that I am a movie freak.
And you could put that, because that's so fun. You know, avid reader, movie freak or something, you know, and you can get creative because of the character limitation. You don't have to put a lot of ands and stuff in there. Put commas in there if you wanted to put a few things in there. You can abbreviate. You can use, like, instead of and, I use the plus. Or you can use the ampersand or something like that, just to kind of save yourself. But yeah, and I like to do them on different lines where not everything is running together. Okay. So, yeah.
All right, that's good. I think I might add something fun there. I also could add the fact that I'm into board games.
Oh, which is totally awesome. And wasn't that the coolest thing, that board game place in Asheville?
Yes.
500 board games. I mean, the shelves were like it was bookshelves and bookshelves of just board games, board games, board games.
Yeah, so what we're talking about is Roben-Marie was in Asheville, North Carolina, and saw a board game cafe.
Yeah.
She sent me a picture, which we're still friends, but I thought that was kind of mean. It's like sending somebody who loves chocolate a picture of Ghirardelli's factory. I'm here, you're not. But yes, that is on my list. Okay, board games. Back to Instagram. But
side note.
Side note, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think is the next most important thing?
I kind of touched on it a little bit, and I like to have this as sort of my second line, and that's basically kind of like, who are you? Basically, who are you? And I think that it's important to let your visitors know a little bit, and again, those little personal things, those actually help, but a little bit more about what makes you maybe different. What makes you maybe a different type of watercolorist, or what makes you stand out a little bit more, especially if you're in business, especially if you are looking to gain your following to maybe eventually have those followers as customers. What makes you a little bit different. And that can be hard. It's hard to write about yourself. It's hard to say good things about yourself. But I think it's thinking about, if you look at your account and you say, okay, what do I want people to know about me right away when they first come? What's important for them? Me, I want them to know I'm an online educator. I want them to know that I have classes, even though I love art and I love these things that I do. This is a lot of the focus of what I do.
Right.
And helping other creatives and makers with their journey as well. And I need to tweak mine a little bit. It's been a while since I've looked at it, and I think I could probably tweak that a little bit more even. So, yeah.
So it's a statement about something that you do that's kind of specific. So if it's I have watercolor up above, but I want to be specific about the fact that I do florals. Like that's my main focus. Florals in bright, happy colors. Something like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right.
And then if you were to want to focus even more on just your coaching aspect and add that in there, then you could be very specific about, and coach or creative coach to artists, empowering them, blah, blah, blah. So that somebody would go, oh, well, she understands me. I'm an artist. She's an artist. But, oh, okay. So there's like an interest there.
Yeah, I have creative coaching, but I don't explain it. Which is fine for right now because I'm full.
Yes. And that's okay, because we still know what type of artist and what you do. And then it's like, oh, okay, creative coaching. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Interesting. All right. So tell me another thing.
Meaningful hashtags.
Okay. None. So tell me.
Yeah. Okay. So I have one now. I had actually changed it when we started this podcast. I wanted people to know that I'm part of a podcast, that I do a podcast. Okay. And being short on characters, I just hashtag Creatives Get Real Podcast. It also is clickable. If you put a hashtag inside your bio, your profile, they can click it. So rather than saying co-host of the Creatives Get Real Podcast, which is not linkable, I make it a hashtag, which we use that hashtag every time we're posting something about the podcast. Now someone can just go to the bio, boom, click it, and then they'll see all the posts that we've done or anybody else has done that relate to our podcast. So I've not used a whole lot of characters in that. So,
okay, that's interesting. So this is something that's linkable. So if I don't have a business, then I'm a hobbyist. But let's say that I'm participating in a big challenge. Would that be a place where I could put that hashtag so people could follow?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you have your own kind of branded or a hashtag that you use, and we've got...
I do.
Yeah.
And it's not here. Probably a mistake, huh?
Yeah, you might want to consider adding that, because then there's a curiosity there, and like, oh, I wonder, well, what is that? Especially if you're posting constantly and consistently. Now, I used to have Tech Savvy Artist because that's a hashtag I use on everything, but I had to decide which is a little bit more important, and I wanted to put the podcast in there. But I have a second account, which we'll talk about in a minute, that I am linking to. That's the Tech Savvy Artist. So you can kind of fiddle with it a little bit, but I think that at least one hashtag in there. And if you've got your own branded hashtag, yours could be possibly, when you release a workshop or a course, pocket journals, that could be something you could pop in there. Or you could put new hashtag pocket journals or something. Kind of let people know. And you can change these things out based on what you might be working on at the time.
Okay.
If you, last week in episode 24, I believe it was 24, we talked about participating in an art challenge and the benefits of that. So if you're participating in an art challenge or you're hosting one or anything, put the hashtag in there so that people can find it, because it is, again, it's searchable. They can click right on there and go right to any of the hashtags, and then they can follow that hashtag too.
I did not know that those were clickable.
Yes.
That's really interesting.
Yep, they are. Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know. So I'm hoping there are others like me. I didn't know that hashtag was clickable, and I didn't know those top words were searchable.
Yes, they are. And I don't know. I think a lot of people don't really know that. But yes.
I think so too.
Yeah. So you want to, again, if I had just used my name, which back in the day I just had Roben-Marie Smith, artist. Well, they already know Roben-Marie because it's at Roben-Marie. And so why waste those characters, put some things in there. But yours are great. You've got some really good keywords in there for searching. Yeah.
All right. So I've done a few things right and a few things I can improve on. Okay, so what do you think before we go on, let's go back a minute because I wanted to say something about signature hashtags. This is something that I always talk to my coaching people about, and you probably talk about it in your website as well, your membership site. And that is about creative hashtags. I think they're important where you have one that you use that's specific to you. So you like text-heavy artist.
I do use that. I've been using that for a long time.
Do you have any other ones that you use a lot?
I Claim You're Happy is one that I've used for years as well. I don't have too many, but, I'll kind of mix those in. But I think those two are the ones I primarily use. And I like the fact that, especially when I was looking to start Makers Tech U and really helping in a bigger way other artists and makers, I wanted to have something that said I'm tech savvy and I'm an artist, and so that I chose that hashtag so that everything I post has that on it, so that it's a constant, and when people see it, eventually they'll think of me because they keep seeing it and it's something that's being used.
And I think it's important to tell people how you want to be seen.
Yep.
I use Creative Collaborator because everything I do is a collaboration, because we've talked about this before that I only teach in collaboration. Right. I'm a coach. That's a huge collaboration. So that's the one that I use. And I think people, I don't care if you're a hobbyist or a business person, give yourself your own hashtag.
Right.
Something that says something about you that you use every single time.
Yep, and put it on every single post. It doesn't matter if you're in the mountains and you take a picture of a waterfall. I use it on everything because that's my signature hashtag. And I also want to recommend that you not make it too long. I don't know that there's a hard and fast rule for the length of it, but obviously you need to be wary of your characters here, but don't make it so long that it's just too long and people are like, what is that?
Say?
Yeah, what is that? It can be catchy, but meaningful, like yours, and mine makes sense. So just start writing things down and then search that hashtag first, because you want to make sure there's not 10,000 already under that. Try to make it something that's unique to you.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hard to get one that no one else is using, but you could get one that just a few people are using.
That's right. And and I've gone in and searched my tech savvy artist just to see, and every now and then something pops up that, it's not mine, but for the most part, I'm the only one using it. Yeah. So I definitely recommend you do a little searching before you pick one, for sure.
Okay. Yep. And I think they're important. So give yourself a hashtag. If you're on social media, you deserve one. Yep. Get one.
There you go.
Okay. Yes. What's the final?
Fifth, the final thing is a call to action. Basically, what do you want them to do? Okay, how many times have you gone to someone's Instagram and gone, oh, I love their work. Do they have a website? And then you look up in their bio and there's nothing there. Or, you don't even really know much about them because they haven't really put anything in there. And that's okay, guys. If you really want to stay completely anonymous and private, then obviously don't put a link in there. But this is a valuable thing for you to have this link where you can direct your visitors to something that you want them to go to. You can change this out. So there's some options here. So let's talk about some of these options.
Okay.
You can link to, say, your YouTube channel. If you're trying to build your YouTube channel, have them link right to your YouTube channel. If you want them to link to your Facebook, if you want them to go to your blog, it's harder if you are posting at various times things that are timely, like check the link in my bio for whatever. If you don't have to keep changing that link, that's a bonus.
Right.
There's options out there. You can use Linktree. That will allow you to set up multiple links. Basically, when you click on it, it goes to a little page, like a landing page that has buttons, and then they can click on whatever.
Okay. Let's spell that.
Yes. I believe, hold on, I got to write it down because
it's LINKTREE.com.
That's it. Yeah. And it's free, guys. So you don't, I mean, they have a paid version, but the free version is perfectly, usable. The other option you and I both use is we have a page on our website that's designated just for Instagram. Mm-hmm. We both use Squarespace as our platform. And basically it's setting up a page on your website that doesn't have a header, doesn't have a footer. It can, and you just have all the buttons set up. So what's really nice about that is, let's say Makers Tech U is now open. The doors are open. That's the first button. So when someone clicks through on my Instagram link, they see that. Right. But they'll also see my blog or my shop or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I just move those buttons around depending on what is the most current thing I'm promoting or that I want them to see or do. Mm-hmm. And I just put that and I just keep rotating them around. So I never have to change the link in my Instagram bio because it's the same all the time. Mm-hmm. But if you don't really have a place for them to go, you can, a specific page like that, then link somewhere else. Link to your blog, link to your in general, your website, or just change this out based on whatever topic it is that you're kind of promoting at the time. Right. And yours is set up like mine, where it goes to one, and then the buttons just change based on what you want to promote. Right. So, but I think it's important with that link to let them know what's going to happen when they click it. You can post in your comment, or your caption, link in bio. You're talking about a new course, or you're talking about a freebie that you have, link in bio. But maybe be a little specific in there and say, click link in bio, hit button, or hit freebie button, or hit free download, or whatever it is called, giving them a little bit direction. But in your bio, put down in there what will happen when they go. So for instance, in mine, it just says resources. Okay. And then my link, so that they know, oh, okay, there's resources here. If I click this, it's going to take me somewhere that has resources. And I can change that out. I've had, based on the characters, free resources, or you can, whatever works for you. Mm-hmm. But I think it's important to put something in there. Okay. So if you have this, free class that you want to promote, put free class or whatever. But I think in general, just having resources is good because they know there's things there that are going to be of value, and then they can click over to it. Okay. And then you and I both, I don't remember what we called yours, but mine's Instagram. Like it's my website name /Instagram, and I put hi on there. But so you can make it kind of relevant depending on which route you go with that. Okay, cool. But I think that's important. And then also I want to mention this too, because we were talking about the hashtag. I have a second Instagram account for my Tech Savvy Artist side of my business. And in my bio, I have follow at Tech Savvy Artist, so that someone coming here can say, oh, she has another Instagram account. And then they can click that because it's clickable and go over to the other account. And then in the other account, I have the Roben-Marie account. Okay, so that
they link back and forth.
And so they can click whichever account they end up going to. They can see that I have this more artsy account, and then I have more of a tech account. Gotcha. So you can also put your at accounts, or let's say you have a friend that you want to promote something that they're doing, and you can put a little thing in there. So you can kind of return that by actually sharing someone else's account in there as well. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that because I do have 2 accounts, and so I've added that. Yeah. That took up a little bit of my character space. So yeah.
Yeah, I have 2 accounts as well.
Yep.
And also to mention that the character length that you have for your bio is 150 characters.
You mentioned something that I wanted to talk about, and that is private accounts. So let's talk about, should you, or maybe when shouldn't you, is the better question. When shouldn't you have a private account?
That's a good question. And I think that if you are using your Instagram account pretty much for friends and family and more of a, life thing, maybe you don't want to really post all these photos of your children to the public, but you want that to be something that your family and friends can share in, I think a private account is great. I think if you're wanting to gain a following, perhaps run a business or test the waters of that, I don't think having a private account makes sense.
Right.
number one, you have to continually go through and figure out, do I want this person to follow me? Do I not want them to follow me? And sometimes that's an obstacle.
Right.
Because I'll be honest, when I go to an account and it's private, I don't really know what they're posting. So I'm not really sure I want to follow them because I don't really know what I'm following.
Yeah. And for me, when I go to someone's account and it's private, I also don't know why it's private.
Right.
It's like, what are they posting that they want to keep private? Well, I almost feel like I'm knocking on their door without permission. So I will often, almost 100% of the time, I will not ask to follow.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's like a door that's closed. And I'm like, okay. There's a reason that they're that it's not public. And,
Unless it's somebody I know, and I say, well, I like to follow you, and they're like, oh, my account's private. Just go ahead and send a request, and I'll acknowledge. But a lot of times it's just because they're private, and it's more for family and friends, and they don't really.
Yeah, I feel like I'm, like stepping into their private area, so I don't even ask.
Yeah, I understand.
So I think people need to know that if you want your account private, that's absolutely fine.
Yep.
And but if you are thinking about, even if you want to be on a design team,
exactly,
you have to come out from behind that wall and open the doors.
That's right. Yeah, because they're gonna go there, and what if right now all you have is your Instagram and you don't really have a website set up yet and all that? We can't find you.
Right.
We can't really see what you're doing, and so I think that's when you kind of need to really, like you said, come out from behind the door. And,
If you want to be, on a design team, if you want to participate in a challenge, it's really hard to do a challenge if nobody can see it.
That's right. And you know what? If you have things that you truly want to post that need to remain private, then just start a second account. Do one for art and do one for your friends and family.
Right.
And just keep it separate.
Separate. Right.
Exactly.
I agree.
Yeah.
But if you do art for fun and you don't want people there, then hey,
by all means,
go for it.
Right.
Keep it private, especially if you have issues like children or a spouse that you don't particularly want them.
You don't want anybody to see them?
Yeah, maybe like you're married to Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I was going to say they're too hot and you don't want anyone drooling, right?
Right. Well, sometimes there's a job.
I know,
for a reason that they don't want to be out in public.
Yeah.
I have law enforcement people in my family, so that's something that we think about.
Yeah, that's true. That's
like
a real thing. Yeah.
I don't post pictures of them or their children.
There are definitely times when, and even like you said with law enforcement, you just, you always want to be careful online anyway.
Right.
And, but yeah.
Let's just talk just a minute about that, being careful online. Do you have any rules? Like, of course I have rules. I'm a rule girl. I have rules, but how do you decide who can follow you and who can't?
Okay, that's a very good question.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, interviewer, for that great question. All right, so here's kind of how I look at it. First of all, my account's not private, so anyone can follow me. However, and I don't know what other people do, but this is what I do.
Okay.
I do tend to look and I sort of monitor. So I will kind of go through and I'll tap on people who are following just to kind of see what they're posting. If I see an account that, and yes, there have been pornography accounts or men who post things that there's no reason they should be following me, first of all. And I know a lot of us get that. That just happens. I will block them. If there's anyone who is following me who it doesn't look like there's any art, but there is a lot of political things or things that I don't support, I don't need to go into detail, I will block them because they're not interested in what I am doing. And it's not that I feel like if somebody comes to my account, they'll get a good idea of who I am and what I post. But sometimes we go through people that follow other accounts and we kind of are looking for similar accounts and seeing who we want to follow. And I'm not really keen on having these accounts come up that are questionable.
Right.
It's not that I have any choice, but I can go in and kind of look and say, you know what, I don't really want that person following me. I'm going to block them.
Right.
So, yeah.
And that is one of the ways that you can handle the fact that you're now public, but you do get to control who follows you. And I have a hard and fast rule, and that is if you're male and you don't have the word artist in your description, or if you don't have just photos of art, you're blocked. Because I'm sure you do too. I probably get 3 to 10 guys a day that, first of all, it's not a real account. No, I don't know who these people are, but that's not who. That's not the nice looking guy with the 6 dogs and the 2 kids.
No,
that's not who they are.
And then there's those that do it, and you go, really? That's the photo you're going to use? Anyway, but a lot of those will unfollow automatically anyway, because they're just doing follow for follow. So oftentimes, don't get discouraged when you see, all these follows and then unfollows, because, I truly follow people I want to follow, and half the time I don't have time to go through them all anyway, and so it's kind of like, I know a lot of those will drop off and become unfollows, because they're robots, or they're whatever they call those things.
Bots.
The bots. So, But, there have been times where I was quite shocked when I clicked on it and went, oh my gosh, what? I can't even imagine a kid doing, it's like, oh my word. I think they've gotten better at monitoring those kind of things and blocking those accounts, but that's a great question. It still happens, things get through, so,
So you do have some control over who's on your account and who's DMing you. And
that's right. And when you see a DM come in and it's from a guy and he's like, hey, pretty, how's your day? Or, hey, how,
sweetie.
You just decline or block and you don't worry about it, because it's just, really, that's what you're going to say?
Right,
Fake.
So just take us through the process. Let's say that you get, I can only think of R-rated things to say, so let me think first.
Oh, I've had those.
I know.
And you just want, I'm like, I can't unsee that now.
I know. So let's say that John, I don't want to use your last name, Smith, so let's say Jones. John Jones has followed you. You have clicked on his name. You go over and you see that he's a fake account. It's obvious it's fake.
Yeah.
How do you block him?
Well, you can block it, and you can also block and report. Okay. So if I feel like it's absolutely inappropriate, I will block and report. If it's just, it's a lot of, I don't know, leather jackets and hip hop music, that's not me, I just block it, because it could be a real account that's just trying to get more followers. But
so tell us how you actually, what do you do how do you block?
Yeah, when you go inside, there's a button that when you go in, I don't have it in front of me.
You tap their name.
Yes.
And then there are those 3 dots by their
That's
name.
right. And sometimes this changes depending on, what Instagram's doing. Yeah, and what Instagram is doing. So when you go in and you see your followers.
We'll use mine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have his name, and then I have a blue button that says follow.
Yes.
So I'm going to click on his name, and then I go to his account.
That's right.
Next, up at the top, next to his name, there are 3 dots. You click on that, and then you get a drop-down menu. The top one is block.
That's right.
So you're going to touch block, and then a screen comes up, and it asks you, do you want to block them? And you're going to click block again.
Yep.
So this guy actually looks like an artist, so I'm not going to block him. I'm going to hit cancel. But you would hit block. Then another screen that says that you've blocked them, and you click dismiss. And that gets rid of them.
Yes, and that's important, because sometimes when you see that, it's like, does that mean I don't click this? Or dismiss means I don't really want to do it. So yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So 3 buttons, block. And then when it comes up, you say dismiss. Yeah. And that's how you get rid of people.
And on the DMs, I just say decline. Because there's nothing really there to even deal with beyond that. So, yeah.
Yeah, you do not want to answer them.
No, don't.
Okay, so I think that was a lot of good information.
I hope so.
And I have some changes I'm going to make to my bio right away.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, and if you guys have questions, just find us on Instagram. Search the hashtag Creatives Get Real Podcast. And just ask. We're happy to, answer any questions about this. All right, guys, I really enjoyed sharing tips and tricks on Instagram.
Thank you.
Thank you for interviewing and us doing that episode. I really enjoyed that. So
me too.
All right, till next time.
All right, bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of Creatives Get Real.
We love hearing from you. So hop on over to Instagram and leave us a comment. And we also appreciate reviews on iTunes.
And you can find me, Sandi Keene, at sandykeene.com, and my classes at popupartclasses.com.
And you can find me, Roben-Marie Smith at robenmarie.com. And if you're looking for and need tech support, check out my membership site, makerstechu.com.